Hello everybody, Zeidoktor here, and this episode of the Typical Manga Review is going to be dedicated to My Hero Academia, chapter 123, where's that? Invincible. And we start out with meeting the big three, Hey Girl, Fallout Boy, and who I will soon come to call Wallflower. They have real names and I'll get to them momentarily, but that's what I'm calling them because I like their names. Everyone's just kind of looking at them like, ooh, I heard we had guys like this, but one's a real beauty to boot, and they kind of looked apart, don't you think? And Deku's recognizing Fallout Boy from his earlier encounter. He's also remembering seeing him before. It's like he actually saw the UA Sports Festival on TV the previous year, and there's one person who apparently didn't have any notable results but left a weird impact on him. And we actually see like Deku giving us the actual WTF sound effect, as Fallout Boy is apparently trying to get dressed. Or take off his clothes. I'm not quite sure which. Actually, going by direction, I think he's trying to get dressed. Anyway, Deku's thinking to himself that he doesn't recall seeing the other two finish up in the upper ranks either. So the big three may not have been anything special when they started. And he's wondering what sort of heroes they are. So we start with the Wallflower, nicknamed, whose real name is Amajiki. He stares at them with serious, furious intensity, and everyone's like very intimidated. And then we're seeing them as potato heads. And he's like, it's no good, Mirio, Hado. No matter how hard I try to think of them all as potatoes, everything except their heads just keeps its human form. And besides their heads, I can only see them as humans. What should I do? The words, they won't come out. Then he turns up against the chalkboard. I want to go home. So, Wallflower has stage fright. Which leaves Ojo wondering, this guy's the one at the top of the class. Hey, I'm Tiki. Listen to this. Apparently it's called being chicken-hearted. Hey, you know you're human. Weird, huh? Yep. And that's Hey Girl. And she's introducing herself, and she's introducing Tamaki Amajiki, the chicken, and her name is Nejiri Hado. We've come here today because we are asked to talk to you all about the internship, which the Viz version calls work study. But, hey, by the way, she comes up to Soji. Why are you wearing a mask? Catch a cold? Or is that the latest fashion? And then, before he can even finish answering, like, oh, hey, you're Todoroki, right? Why do you have a burn scar on your face like that? Well, that's... Hey, Ashito, are those horns break? Did they grow back? Can you move them? Hey, what about you, Minato? Are those baldings on your head your hair? How do you cut it? Ashito, are you a tree frog? You're not a toad, right? No matter how I look at all the things that pique my interest, how strange. And Kaminari's like, is loving this because she's like a natural airhead. Ashito's like, she's like a kindergartner. And Mina's like, are you saying you're interested in my balls? Whoa there. I can't tell whether he's horrified or excited. Sarah's like, yeah, no. And she's kind of wondering, hey, can you support your whole body with a tail, Ojiro? Hey, answer me, I'm super curious. And there's like, I see you're all lacking any sort of rationality. Please do not worry, Eraserhead. I'm the key performer here today after all. Thank you, Fallout Boy. And he tries to like the journey ahead, then strikes a pose which confuses everybody. That's where you say we'll be full of difficulties. Alright, you all utterly fail at getting the point of the conversation. Which leaves the group wondering, these guys are all weirdos, aren't they? The personalities certainly don't evoke the idea of a big three. And Fallout Boy just kind of goes in like, I see from all your faces you have no clue what's going on. The internship, the explanation of the work study, which are not even a requirement, has been left to these third-year students who have just appeared all of a sudden. I get it. It doesn't make much sense, right? You acquired your provisional licenses as first years. Is that right? This year's first years are really energetic, aren't they? I see. Well, I see. Well, it looks like my intro fell flat here. So, how would you all like to team up and fight against me? Which, like, what? It would make the most sense for them to witness and feel our own experience rather with their own bodies, wouldn't you say, Eraserhead? Eraserhead's like, you know what? Fuck it. Do what you want. So they go back to the training ground where they were training for the provisional exam. And Sarah's wondering if this guy's even serious. And yeah, he's dead serious. Wallflower's like, Mirio, you shouldn't do this. All you have to do is play it by the book and explain it to them how the internships work and why they're important. Mira knows he's saying this from very far away and still facing the wall. It's not as if every single one of them is burning with willpower after all. No matter what, you must not make it so these kids aren't able to get back on their feet anymore. Meanwhile, Hado Hey girl, is playing with Ashido's horns, much to her annoyance. Like, please don't do that. Oh, hey, listen to this. Did you know a while back there was a kid who got so frustrated he completely gave up on becoming a hero and caused all sorts of problems? Did you know? And that Togata, he really had it tough. So you really got to think things through properly, or it'll only be hard on you, really hard. Okay? I am better at that than I want to admit. And Tokiyama was like, wait a minute, even though we have a handicap, we got pros fighting on our side as well. And we've got experience fighting villains too, Kirishima. My interpret that you all worrying about us that much is seeing us as nothing but small fry. And Mirio, Fallout Boy, is like, yep, feel free to come at me from wherever and whenever you want. So, who's up first? But while Kirishima was actually going to declare he'll go, Deku actually walks up first, like, I would like to go. Which surprises and upsets Kirishima. But Uraraka is remembering how he's determined to close the gap from his missed days. Like, Mirio's like, the problem, child, eh? That's what I'm talking about. As I thought, you're full of energy. But Deku's thinking here is that he's someone who stands at the top of UA. And to think he would ask for a duel, this is the best opportunity I could ask for. The top of UA and me. Just how wide is the distance? And everybody's getting ready to attack all at once. And with a very shouty but very also polite, we humbly ask for your guidance. They are starting to attack, and Fallout Boy's clothes fall off. Or fall through him, rather. Zero is actually just like blushing, covering her face, and screaming. Like, and it's like, your clothes just fell off. Oh, sorry. It's difficult to fine tune all the adjustments, you see. And while he's trying to get his pants together, like Deku attacks, punches him right for the head, and phases right through him. Since, as was kind of already implied last time, Fallout Boy has Kitty Pride powers. And Deku's interpreting it as a quirk that lets him slip through things. And he's wondering how to deal with it. It's like, he's thinking like, straight to the face, huh? And everybody else throws attacks at him too. Like, I don't know about all of them, but Yayorozu, like I can recognize Ashido's acid, the naval lasers. Can't remember everybody's name. I apologize for that. And they just pass through him harmlessly. Then he vanishes entirely, and it pops up behind Zero. I suppose I'd start with the long range ones, eh? And as we're seeing this, we're actually seeing a timer, like just at 1 second right beneath, like just a split second underneath Zero. And Kirsten was saying he teleported, but it's more. So it's more than slipping through things? Just how strong is this dude's quirk? Wallflower, though, was thinking that Mirio's quirk is not something that should be envied. Far from it. What you should really be jealous of is his incredible technique, you first-year brats. And we see a little timer here showing us that he basically has them beaten within 5 minutes. At least I think it's 5 minutes. That's how it seems to present itself. And we have Wallflower's continuing thoughts that after being scouted, he'd completely devoted himself to his internship under a certain hero. And Mirio is carefully cultivated. Eraser is calling out, alright class, this is a great opportunity, so get yourselves roughed up a bit and learn from it. That guy, Mirio Togata, is, as far as I know, the very closest man to becoming number 1, and that includes the pros. And he pretty much took them all down in not even 5 minutes, actually, more like 4 minutes, because he spent the last minute getting his pants and putting them back on. And then striking the opponent's screen, power! And that is where the chapter ends. And this sort of thing is what we call the Worf effect. Just for, I see it all the times on TV tropes. Basically, it amounts to take a character who's fully established in power, and then have them get stomped by somebody else to show how powerful they are. We know what Class 1A can do. We know they may still be kids, but they're tough cookies. And Mirio just took them out within 5 minutes. I said, I don't know if it's meant to be 5 seconds or 5 minutes. I'm going to say minutes until something says otherwise. And I can see it going either way. So, I'm going to say 5 minutes just to give them some credit. But yeah, we basically have ourselves some crazy, like, this whole big three thing. It's a thing I see a lot in anime and manga, and it annoys me a little bit, but it's so common I can't really be annoyed that much by it. Or basically, you always have this group of people. They always refer to it as the number something or other. It's always a number. There's always a number in there. And they're also so ridiculously crazy or quirky that I mean, basically, like it's weird actually. Like, I'm thinking of a quote from a book I read where they described that the greater the man, the greater his flaws or eccentricities. The only problem I have with that using that particular idea of a quote, and I don't know the exact words, I can find it later if anyone's interested. It comes from the Safehold book series by David Weber, and it's in reference to the big bad of the series, who is the Grand Inquisitor of a corrupt church, which by itself should tell you everything you need to know. Anyway, so we have our quirky minis, our quirky boss team here, like the mini All Might that is Fallout Boy Mirio. Hey girl, Hado, who's got the attention span of a 5-year-old, just going by a Cheeto Zone comparison. And Wallflower Amajiki, who's just sitting there, and by the way, also has elf ears. I don't know what that's anything to do with this power yet. There are some words about things about how their names reflect their quirks, but I'm not going to go into that in too much detail. Partly because I can't remember them and I don't want to waste time bringing them up, and also because it's hard to say if they're even accurate until we see more about what their quirks are and getting a proper explanation for them. The one that caught my attention and sticks with me now, though, is that Hado, the girl. Hey, girl. Her name is the Hado in her name is the same Hado you get from things like Hadoken, wave, or Kamehameha. It's that same Hado, wave. So that might give a suggestion what her power might end up being. I'm not quite sure what to make of Mirio just yet. It's like there's this. I kind of thought it a couple times before, but I really thought it here. On the page going back a bit where. Let's see here. Let me get that point. Yeah, here we go. A couple more pages. Yeah. Like where he's looking at them like wondering about how they acquired their professional relationships first years, right? These first years are really energetic, aren't they? Like the way it's shown is almost ominous. I'm not quite sure what to make of that just yet. Because my theory on Mirio is this. Like the whole point of it is he's supposed to be like the successor before Deku. Like that's why I'm thinking like they talked about how he was like trained under a certain hero. I was wondering if that might mean he was trained under All Might. Because that would make the most sense, especially if he was being scouted out as a potential successor for him. He could like do the work study under him. Some people have said either Endeavor or the still unknown number 3 hero, which are possibilities as well, especially if potentially even Endeavor if my theory holds out. So I don't think Endeavor is that likely because he is so fixated on Todoroki. Moving on though, my theory on Mirio is this: we had Deku, like when Deku and Bakugo fought, they were compared in such a way that Deku had the heart of a hero but not the drive of a hero, while Bakugo had the drive of a hero but not the heart of a hero. My thinking is that Mirio has both, but in far too great a quantity. Like he could be like the kind of guy who would punish even the most simple of crimes with something more severe than was warranted. And that might be coloring my interpretation of his actions here. Like he's so fixed on Deku, who may or may not be known as a favorite of All Might. I'm not quite sure if that's how well known that is outside of their class, but still, you've got that going on. While like, and he's like really fixated on him as being a problem child, like because he had that fight with Bakugo, caused trouble here and there, things like that. And if he knew he was being scouted as some kind of successor or replacement for All Might, and he thinks Deku might be threatening that could also be a factor too. Like maybe that could be like where he's too ambitious, too driven. Meanwhile, he could also be like really reckless and when it comes to like going after people and saving them, which could fall under the too driven, too much heart. That's my theory on him. Not sure on the other two just yet. Like they're just there to kind of be the polar extremes with him in the middle. That said, I do like Hey Girl Hado because I don't know. She's just like common artist. She's a natural airhead. She's just so bubbly. You can't help but love that. Like she keeps asking all the questions. I think a lot of people have wondered as well, like Soji's mask or stuff about Ashido and things like that. Alright, so like I said, that's my theory on what Mirio was going to end up being. I don't know how right I'll be just yet. It's still too early to say, but I think I've. It seems like a thing there, especially since, like I said, they're just presenting him in such a way that I can't help but feel there's some ominousness here. That's all. Let's see here. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, but I think that about covers. Like I said, the whole this was largely just to demonstrate how strong Fallout Boy was compared to everybody else. So, and we definitely got that with the 5 second and or 5 minute beatdown, while naked, by the way. Because poor Zero's like, I don't see Zero's not prepared for today. Yeah, so he took down everybody, and there we are with that. So, let's see here. Yep. So I'm going to call the review here. Then that's been the review of chapter 123 of My Hero Academia, Invincible. State since we only have one week this week, I'm going to go ahead and try out a quick little segment, just a quick little thing I've been kind of thinking of off and on for a while here. I'm tentatively calling Under the Radar, based on where I got inspired for it. Just a quick little thing where I'm going to be discussing a manga that caught my eye. Nothing more than just a one review, nothing more than one shot, but keep an eye out for it. We'll see it, and just to kind of like try to find something you might not have found otherwise. Until then, bye bye.